The Marvels. I didn't know what I was signing up for, even though I went in thinking I knew what I was signing up for. The MCU has been going downhill for a while now. Honestly, I'm not that picky about movies. People said the same things about Ant-Man Quantumania, but I enjoyed that movie to some extent. This movie was all over the place. I was never a huge fan of Captain Marvel. Didn't find her to be a very compelling character ever. And I haven't seen any of the TV series on Disney Plus. Miss Marvel. Didn't even watch Loki. Didn't watch WandaVision. Too much for me to follow. I am an MCU fan, not like a hardcore fan. I will say I was definitely a bigger fan back during Marvel's golden age. Iron Man all the way to Avengers Endgame. I just want to put out there, Iron Man was my favorite superhero. Iron Man was a lot of people's favorite superheroes. Fun fact about me, I really like Iron Man. So back to the Marvels. I'm not mad about it. I just felt that I went on this crazy adventure, this crazy mix. It was like an amalgamation. What do you even call those? Heterogeneous mixtures? I can't even find the right words to describe this movie. And I don't want to go into all of that. Disney's trying to be woke, female characters that are coming in and not being hashed out very well. I don't really want to go into all of that. Okay, this video is just gonna be, I'm supposed to spoil this whole thing. The concept of switching bodies was kind of cool. It got a little messy. Can't really complain much about that aspect. So the villain wasn't even really a villain. Okay, she was a villain, but it's like if you took her out of the picture. Was she even the driving force of this plot? She was, but she barely showed up. I don't even remember her name. Darman Supremer. We know nothing about her other than the fact that she's trying to get revenge on Captain Marvel because she was from the planet Hala and Captain Marvel had destroyed their supreme intelligence, and apparently that caused them to go to civil war, and then they sort of destroyed their own planet. And now their planet doesn't have a breathable atmosphere, doesn't have drinkable water, doesn't have a sun. Their sun died. She has found this bracelet that opens holes in the fabric of space-time where she could just move things from one place to another. So she's going to all these planets that mean a lot to Captain Marvel, and she's taking the atmosphere from Kree, the water from Aladna. She wants to take Earth's sun in our solar system. I don't know, were they trying to go for, she's not totally evil, she's just doing it for revenge, but she's doing it to save her planet. So she's kind of Thanos-esque, but not really, because she doesn't really have a compelling reason to take everything from one planet. And what I mean is Aladna is over 99% water. I'm like, you don't have to take all of the water. You can just take a bit from everywhere and then you'll have enough for your planet. But no, she's doing it because she wants to get back at Captain Marvel. And that makes her a villain. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be a villain. She'd be a hero. And she was not interesting at all. She didn't even do anything. She was so unnecessary and underwhelming, and even her demise, that scene. All three of them, Captain Marvel, Kamala, and Monica, they're all fighting her. She like turns on them and then she steals the other bracelet because she only had one of the bracelets. Kamala had the other one. And then she puts it on and then you're like, oh my god, the villain won. And then she like does something and then she just tries to use it in the way that she wanted to, and then the power is so overwhelming that she just disintegrates and then she's just out of the picture. She got rid of herself. I've never seen a villain just destroy themselves without having accomplished their main goal. I'm like, you went through all of that just to destroy yourself at the end and not even get what you wanted. Like, she didn't even save Hala. Apparently, Monica is like, she's like this genius scientist kind of, sort of. She's like, oh, Captain Marvel, you can just use your power and restore their sun, and then you would have just saved the day. So this whole time, if Captain Marvel was strong enough or like maybe thought about it, she could have prevented all of this from happening from the get-go. There was no need for the Kree to have their planet destroyed. There was no need for Aladna to get all of their water taken. There was no need for the rise of Darman at all. I'm like spoiling the end already, but prior to this, no scene could have beat that scene when they got to Aladna and everyone just breaks out into song because apparently that's their language. They can't speak, they have to sing. And then we find out that Captain Marvel is married to the prince of this planet. And then the scene comes when Park Seo-joon walks out and he's like, yo guys, I'm the prince and I'm her husband. That's not how it happened, but I saw him and I'm like, what? When was he in this movie? Oh yeah, right. I do remember seeing him being on the list of cast for this movie, but I totally forgot that he was even gonna be in this movie. And then he shows up. It was so random. I was speechless when I saw him. Okay, yeah, he's good looking, but why is he here? And then they start dancing and singing like this is some Disney princess movie. And I'm like, what is going on? What am I watching? It was just too random. Even prior to that scene, Captain Marvel was like, yeah, so Aladdin is like 99.9% water. I was like, okay, so this is gonna be like some underwater civilization. And they go to that planet and everyone's on land. Maybe that's not the first thought that comes into most people's minds. How are you almost 100% water, but all of the organisms just live on the 0.05% of land? That's not how evolution works. That was already weird. And then you throw in the singing and then you throw in Park Seo-joon. I just felt so disoriented. I don't even know. I can't even explain this movie. There was this one scene where Darman is trying to take the sun, and then Nick Fury is on this other spaceship with a bunch of human crew, and then there's a bunch of these octopi cats, cat tentacle monster things, and then they start swallowing the humans, and then Nick Fury's like, oh yeah, this is a good thing because this will help us transport everyone to safety. And then there's this very long scene of just cats with tentacles chasing humans and swallowing them while some type of French music was playing in the background. Am I just remembering things wrong? Was this just a long fever dream? Let's talk about the main characters for a second because I totally skipped through everything. Kamala Khan was cute. She's like your average funny high schooler, relatable fangirl. I don't really have much to complain about her. She had a good heart. She makes Captain Marvel seem like she's the villain. Captain Marvel is like this veteran hero that has to make all of these hard decisions, and she's like, this is the way it has to be. Okay, but does it really? She feels like the older generation of people who already have their mindset that this is the way things are and there's no other way. And then Kamala Khan's supposed to play like this new generation youngling who's kind of naive, but at the same time, she seems inexperienced, but she's not wrong. And then you have Monica, Captain Marvel's adopted niece. I don't know. Captain Marvel's friends with her mom. I don't even remember the story. Right off the bat, there's like this tension between them two. And then you find out it's because Monica was waiting for Captain Marvel to come back like she promised, but she never did. You left us when we needed you the most. Like Avatar Aang. When the world needed him most, he vanished. I'm explaining every little thing that was weird, and I'm explaining it in the weirdest way possible. She ends up sacrificing herself because she has to close the hole that Darman made from the other side because Darman punched it from their universe. So she has to close it from the other universe. So she's like trapped on the other side, and Captain Marvel can't save her, and then she's all sad about it. Captain Marvel, they like overpowered her. She's like Pikachu, but not as cute. She has this very perfect air to her, even though, I mean, they tried to make her look like she has internal struggles and she had to go through stuff to finally realize her powers. But I'm like, no, she was pretty strong from the beginning. She didn't really have any obvious weaknesses. In this movie, she's like, oh yeah, it's my fault because I destroyed their supreme intelligence. But it didn't seem like she regretted doing that. Captain Marvel, if you could travel back in time and do something different, would you have done something different? She didn't make it seem like she really regretted it or that she was gonna really improve herself as a person. She was just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's my fault. And then she just has the ability to just restore their son again. Was there really any consequence there? Besides, you know, losing Monica. Oh, maybe that's why she had to lose Monica. But still, is she gonna be a better person, a better superhero after this experience? I feel like she's just gonna be the same. In the end, we don't really get an explanation of what happened to Aladra. Aladna? I don't know why I keep saying it wrong. That's such a weird name. It reminds me of Aladdin, but it's not. Did they get their water back? I mean, I know Kree lost their planet. There's no saving them there. The Earth and the sun, nothing happened. I mean, you can't really take the sun and restore the solar system. I mean, because the moment you suck the sun away, I think Earth is just gonna fly out to space without the gravitational pull. Everything's just gonna freeze. And then now going forward, they're apparently gonna make this new Avengers team just full of female superheroes, which I think this would have sounded interesting like maybe a couple years ago before it all went downhill for Marvel, but that was the movie. It was a wild ride. It's fun in that it's kind of unpredictable. not that the story's unpredictable, it's the elements that they decided to throw in there. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's like a mystery box. That could potentially be fun for some. I'm just along for the ride. Take me wherever you fancy. It felt like this story I came up with in high school about an alien who wears a turtle on his head and he just rides around space on a jelly bean bike. I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, Captain Marvel. Not Captain Marvel. I keep saying Captain Marvel because it's apparently her second sequel movie, is it? It was supposed to be, but I guess she wasn't popular enough to get her own movie. So it's called The Marvels. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoyed this movie. How did you feel about it? Was it what you expected? Did you understand it better because you watched the Disney Plus TV series? I was very confused in the beginning, but yeah, let me know.